1941, and so which means I'm just 84, and 83, and 84, and my family came from North Korea, and which means staunch anti-communist, and but my father. I have a long story to tell you, but I think today is time constraint. But my father graduated from Japanese University in Tokyo, and in law, but he could not find a job. So he went to another college that specializing mining engineering, because his father was a rich man. His father was very rich in North Korea, and so he thought that he can use that money to have a mine business all over the country. So that was the 1930s, and he did it, and then finally he found a place, mine in Gangwon-do, and he was doing mining business over there. But in the meantime, my mother died, 1944, and then he came to Pyongyang, North Korean capital right now, and then he brought me to the Gangwon-do, and then I started having life in South Korea. That was in 1944. And then, unfortunately, my father died 1947. And then I had to, my sister was married and in Seoul. She took me to the Seoul, and then I was brought by my sister and my brother-in-law. And then after Korean War, and I graduated what do you call middle primary school at that time, and then entered the Gyeongbok Middle School, and from there on I spent 6 years in Gyeongbok High School, and then that was very good for me to open up the further opportunity at the Seoul National University, and after the military service, I came to the United States in 1968, and that was the brief story about me.
Yes, sir. But how did you get into your position from starting from maybe high school?
Yeah, as I said, I came to United States as a graduate student, and then I finished up my master's degree in Idaho State University, and then moved on to State University of New York at Buffalo. That's the way I finished my PhD. And then I had a postdoctoral research at the Sloan Kettering Institute for Cancer Research in New York. And after that, then I found a job at the University of Georgia. That was 1982. I came to the University of Georgia in 1982. From there on, I started from assistant professor to full professor.
Thank you for the explanation. If we could please have the next Professor Chang explain to us, if you could please sort of briefly introduce yourself and how one got to your position from high school.
Yep. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to this place and this event, and then I'm always nervous to speak in English in front of the majority of the Korean people here, because my English still has some sort of things. My children always made a point. Oh, Daddy, that is not correct pronunciation and so on. So, but I try. I will do my best here to deliver the things here. My high school time was not quite easygoing time. My father used to work in newspaper company. Probably many of you remember his name, 경향신문사. And then at the time I had no worry about anything, but suddenly he quit the job and then he started his own business. That didn't went well. And then suddenly the entire family got into some financial problem. And then after that, I always, had some worry, some concern in my mind, how to get over this difficult type of things. And then my high school time, so I don't have much memory except for the thinking of that. I needed to endure this time, and then I have to move forward to the future. So that was the only motivation, and also always, through that financial issues, I always think about how to keep our family in love and with really a good a shape. So that was always the first prayer in my Christian life. And then after that, I got into Seoul National University. It was really good opportunity for me. And then because of the financial issues again, so I had to had a lot of part-time tutoring jobs, and then also try to get some scholarship. And then after graduation, I just went to the graduate school, master's degree and PhD all in Korea, same place, same campus. So probably sounds like it's too long time for almost everyone. So now more than 11 years, I just stayed in Seoul National University, and then because of military duty, I went to the Samsung Electronics and worked there for 2 years, and then I made a decision, a big decision in my life. I need to go to US for more opportunities. Then my wife gratefully agreed with me on this movement, big movement. So in my entire family, 4-member family, 2 children, 1 wife and 1 husband. So we came to the US as a visiting scholar. That was the Caltech in California, Pasadena, and then I stayed there 6.5 years. Always the sort of, whenever I encounter some sort of a big difficulty in my career development, was it a good decision or not? I always ask that question, but without having any certain answer from my atmosphere and environment. Frankly speaking, I had to pray, and then that was the only thing I got from my Lord, and then it was really only backup for me. And then after 6.5 years in Caltech, I applied position in many universities, and then Georgia Tech invited me. So that's the sort of a short story. And then again later I will share my personal sort of experience with my precious undergraduate student and graduate student in Georgia Tech, and then I would like to share some number of ideas I got from my conversation and also activities with my students. That's it.
Professor, were there any tests that you had to take to get to where you are? Like, at the very least, I'm sure to get to grad school, you have to take some sort of a test. Is there a test or a license a professor has to obtain to become a professor?
Oh yeah, I mean, for the professor position, probably Professor Chu can give you more information, but in my 18 years experience from academia, so there is no test for faculty position, but there have been always some sort of exams or tests for qualification up to up to the PhD course. So that should be sort of everywhere in the world nowadays. It's pretty much a standard in Korea, US, or any European countries. Yeah, there is always test.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. And again, if you could please briefly introduce yourself and how does one get to your position from high school, Professor Chung.